Hi everyone, Matt here, and welcome back to Train Sim World 2 on the PC. Today we're going to be in charge of Q352, a manifest train from Willard, Ohio to Cumberland. So we're here on the Sandpatch Grade, starting out in Rockwood, I believe, and we are going to be in the AC4400CW, or as CSX calls them, the CW44AC. And just behind us is a GP38-2. So let's go ahead and climb aboard and get started. Turn the HUD back on here, climb up the steps. Close the door behind us. And let's go ahead and get up the steps. That is really wonky there. Let's turn on a few things here. Number lights, will make sure those are on. The crosswalk lights are on. The control prompt is on as well. I don't think we need any of those. So with that, let's go ahead and head in the engineer's seat and let's get started. Let's go ahead and turn on some things down here. Once again, I don't know why the generator field is off, but we'll go ahead and turn that on. The step light's already on. Turn the gauge lights on there. Did these work? No, that does not work. Okay. Next up is our... Well, I'll get the headlights on last. Let's just make sure the brakes are set up here. Air brakes. Save changes. So, I've had oh, wait, hold on. I don't know if we have... Is this set to handle off? Handle off. Yep. Independent brake. Will release there. Okay, so the automatic brakes and handle off. Let's put this back to cut out, and that should actually stay lead, I believe. Save changes. Let's move the air brake back, see if that does anything here. So the problem I have is this, there's still brake cylinder pressure, and I don't understand why it's like that. There we go. Oh, I think we got it to work. Oh, it went back up to 22. Or 24 now. Yeah, I don't know. I thought that's supposed to go to 0. This is what I don't get. Maybe it'll work now. Brake cylinder 0. There we go. Okay, now the brake should be working properly. Let's go ahead and put on the reverser. Yeah, we got a bit of a grade here, but we should be good. Open up a window. 2 blasts of the horn. And we will get moving. So yeah, so some of you might have seen my comment under the last video that I did on the GP38-2, just doing some yard jobs, but I obviously don't understand how the brakes work, and I still don't know how the brakes work. It's a little bit puzzling that you have to go into here and adjust things. I don't know why it doesn't just work from you from the get-go, but oh well. I guess I will have to look to see if the engine manuals are in here. Oh goodness me, we're not moving. Oh, do I have something on? Nope. I think well, we're going up a 0.6% grade, but we shouldn't be, are we actually wheel slipping here? Here we are. Let's watch. Oh, maybe a little bit, yeah. Oh, we seem to be fine. Now we're rolling. So I don't know what that initial issue was, but I think we were wheel slipping there. I think because I put it in a notch 4. It's a bit janky, it's a bit rough. Yeah, but we're making our way. Let's go and turn the bell off because that's getting a bit annoying. Oh, and I forgot to do this. I forgot to put the headlights on. Now we're all set. Yeah, we're moving here. Still a notch 3. Not doing too bad. So the nice thing about the timetables now on Train Sim World 2 is that they give you a lot of consist information. So as soon as you as soon as the sim loads, you get off the loading screen, it tells you exactly what you need to do and all the specifications for this consist. And since I started my own intro to this video, I will read off to you guys what it told me at the beginning. So like I mentioned before, we are in charge of Q352, a manifest train from Willard to Cumberland. But the specs of this, we have 42 mixed freight cars, and in total, the consist is 818.2 yards in length, and we weigh 1,563.9 tons. So, not too bad. I mean, for 42 cars, that's actually a fairly small consist size. I feel like consist size are usually in the 80s, upwards of 100 with DPU units. So just extra motive power throughout the consist. But not in this case of our consist. Again, we have a GP38-2 helping us as well. So, yeah, it's a fairly light manifest train. But yeah, the whole point of this scenario is just to take us through the entirety of Sandpatch Grade. And surprisingly enough, for all the years I've owned Train Sim World, I have not driven through the entire Sandpatch Grade once. And I feel embarrassed to say that, but in today's video we are going to complete that and check that off my bucket list and explore Sandpatch Grade. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. Hopefully you guys enjoy this video, and hopefully we'll learn a thing or two about the route and the sim, which like I said, obviously I don't understand how to use the brakes for some stupid reason. We'll close that window there just so it's a little bit quieter. Yeah, I gotta read into it, but it's the exact same issue that we were having on the GP38-2, which was just understanding what the brake settings need to be set at. You know, figuring out, you know, because I thought, oops, oh my gosh. I thought this is what the Loco was originally set at to start with. The auto brake set to cut in, and I don't know what this brake stands for, but it's supposed to be to lead. I thought that's what it was originally set at, but our brake cylinder, you know, it wasn't going down to 0. It wasn't releasing. Like I said, it just didn't really make any sense. So I'll have to see if the manual is even in the game files. If they are, then I'll definitely have to read them. I know there's a lot of other YouTubers who know what they're doing, or you guys watching are probably yelling at me because I'm doing something wrong and I'm making a fool out of myself. But yeah, regardless, I figured it out on attempt number 2. Yes, this is the second attempt of recording this, but thankfully we are getting underway, especially since this is a full route timetable service. So we'll be traveling the entirety of Sandpatch Grade. So yeah, I guess we tested out the adhesion physics and things like that, because I think we were most certainly wheel slipping there. So that was fairly interesting. It's a bit embarrassing that we're in notch 8, or I'm putting in a notch 8 now, and we're still at about 33 miles per hour. I'm not too fond of... We have a 35 coming up in just under 2 miles. But anyways, it's a bit embarrassing to know you have an AC4400 with a GP38-2 with only 42 cars, and we're in notch 8, and we're just barely reaching 40 miles per hour right now. I'm not too pleased with that, because I feel like there's a lot more power than that. I feel like 42 cars, even up some, you know, steep grades here, like on Sandpatch Grade, would be nothing for this locomotive combination. But I don't know. Maybe I could be wrong. I don't have real-world railroad experience. Neither have I heard, you know, much in the way of how these locomotives handle and run in the real world. So this could be accurate, but like I said, I'm not 100% sure. But it would be nice if we had another locomotive on this consist, or maybe a DPU from behind. We got the clear on this signal. We are coming up to that. Well, that 35 doesn't come up for a while. It's down to another mile. Very underperforming on this train. Way around the bend. Let's see if okay, we're coming up just 1,000 yards to where we need to slow down. I think that's it, just on the bend there. We're doing pretty good. We're actually stabilized at about 35 miles per hour. So yeah, we're working our way through sand patch grade. Like I said, we start in Rockwood, I believe. It's either Rockwood or Rockville. We didn't see too much of it because we're pulled past the Y, except for a long consist. But we're heading our way back up the grade for a bit. Then I think it's just all downhill to Cumberland, which should be nice for us. Go ahead and put in a notch 5 here. A little bit there. Yeah, there we go. And there's our speed marker. Still got the all clear in the top right. 1.4 to the next clear signal. And we'll be maintaining 35 miles per hour for quite some time. Whoops. Went 36 for a bit. That's okay. It's fine. Speeding by a mile. It's okay. Yeah, so that initial move when we started to pull this consist, it wasn't too bad. I think it was fairly smooth. I mean, I was just kind of sitting in notch 3 for a while, and it was slowly accelerating and slowly moving, which was, you know, nice. I think in the previous version of Train Sim World, there was a lot of this pretend tension. Like, you'd get up to a certain speed, and then all of a sudden the consist just wanted to yank you back and slow you down. But now I believe, and correct me if I'm wrong down in the comments, but all the cars are now weighted separately. They all have their own weights, which means that it's not simulated that, you know, you're being dragged by the consist. So it's a little bit more realistic because now each car is individually weighed, and, you know, once you yank each individual car as you start, you know, your acceleration. You know, you put it to like notch 2, notch 3, wait for the entire consist to kind of, you know, stretch out, and then by then, you know, you can start gaining some more momentum now that, you know, everything is, you know, tensioned out. So it just feels better, but like I said, this is off of memory from what just now happened a few minutes ago. We'll have to see on other consists how it works, but by far it's a lot smoother, I feel, than what it was before. Alright, we got 0.1% grade downhill now, so we might start just coasting for a bit. Maybe. It's still a really heavy train. Whoa, look at that. We got some, let's go ahead and do some exterior shots, shall we? Got some diggers up there. Clearing out the side of the mountain. That's impressive. I wonder why. I wonder if maybe there's too much in the way of rocks. They're just simply taking away the cliff just so it's not a hazard for the railroad. Could be a possibility. Alright, we're going back up 5% here. Got the river to our right. I forgot what the river is called. I might maybe look it up on Google Maps here while we're chugging along. 0.8% now. Ooh, we are really slowing down. Notch 7. .5 miles to Garrett, Main, track number 2. Notch 6, so this is another 35. You might notice, you might see the speed signs go by, and you'll see there's 2 numbers on that. The bottom number is the one that we're paying attention to, and that is our, like, the freight train speed or just any other, you know, rail traffic, but the top number is passenger service because those can go a bit quicker on the rails, and I believe the passenger is set to 45 miles per hour, at least for what that pass sign had said. So too bad we can't go that quick. Too bad we also can't do Amtrak on this line, but I think there's only one, or I don't think there's even a station in Cumberland. I don't recall. There's no Amtrak stations on this version of Sandpatch Grade, so it's kind of hard to replicate Amtrak services when you don't really do passenger stops. That's understandable. Winding through the mountains here. The Allegheny Mountains. There's the river down there to our right. Very nice. So next speed, same thing. Oh, it's 40 for a passenger, my bad. 35 for us, unless it dropped to 40 for passengers in this area, because this is quite a tight curve here. Close that window again. Still clear for our next signal, and just about half a mile. Still steady state, 35 miles per hour. Ooh, there's a wind turbine over in the distance. There's 2 of them. It's a nice little detail. I mentioned it again in the last video. We did a little short yard service, but performance-wise, this has been pretty decent so far, especially with the amount of trees that are around. That's something that they talked a lot about. Matt Pedalston from Dovetail Games mentioned a lot about, was that you could just see trees for miles, and that's fairly true. Frame rate wise, you know, I haven't seen a drop in that. And quite frankly, I'm on a pretty good PC, but still, compared to the last version of Train Sim World and the last version of Sandpatch Grade, this is definitely an improvement. Through a little town over here, very nice. No, there's no crossing grades through here, okay. Very nice little town. A little Y in the river there. We got a little yard track over here as well. I wonder what it's like living in areas like this. You see it a lot in Pennsylvania. You see it a lot here in the Virginias, you know, West Virginia, and the Maryland area, and anywhere else where it's, you know, you have the railroad right next to the river, and then occasionally you'll have those small towns and villages, and I wonder what that is like, to live there. Like, do you feel isolated? Do you feel like it's a very tight community that you know a lot of people? it's just an interesting environment. I'm not at all used to that. Got the roadway just next to us here. We got the all clear, and yeah, it is all clear. I can kind of see the green by the stop marker. I thought I disabled those markers, but apparently I didn't. Because I wanted the immersion and the realism, but yeah, apparently I didn't turn that off. Wait, I'm curious now. Yeah, it's the objective marker. Okay. I don't know if I'll keep that off or not, but you have it on the top right as well, which I think, like I said, there's a huge immersion factor with that too, is that you don't need, you know, that on the top left is good enough to show you your distance. Alright, so we got the all clear there, green over red, objective complete. There's the wind turbines right there, drive by them. Next up is Sand Patch track number 1, 5.6 miles. Chugging along. Yep, there they are over in the distance. Alright, so I promise you guys this is not going to be a boring video, because I do plan to talk about a few things as well. Because driving a train is somewhat fairly easy, for the most part. I'll drop it to notch 3 there, that should be fine. All farmland over there to our right. What do they call these? I mean, I guess it's like a plain, but it's, you know, fairly flat land by next to the river. Oh, a floodplain, I think that's what they call it. Because obviously if the river floods, then the plain will flood. Oh, then you got the bridge in the background. Okay, that's where the bridge was. I didn't know where that was. A little trestle bridge for either another railroad or something. I'm not too sure what. We're coming up on that shortly. Ooh, we got a whistle marker crossing coming up. That's exciting. Let's go ahead and switch. I can't see it. I think it's just under the bridge. Yep, there it is. Very good. Horn is a bit quiet. That's why I decided to open the window up. Wow, look at the scenery through here. Yeah, we're not seeing too much because I'm just sitting inside the cab, but there's a cool experience, you know, being inside it. Outside is pretty neat too. We'll go ahead and go to the outside here while we go past the trestle. The highway system to our right. Very cool, very cool. Yeah, we're going up almost a 1% grade here. It's gonna take a little bit more power to climb this bit. Still got the clear. I think that's the next signal coming up. And we're still sticking to 75 miles per hour. 1.1% grade. 1.2, yeah, we're climbing now. Another whistle board here. I believe that line takes you down to the... Oh, we got an engine over there. that takes you down to the coal mine. Where is this crossing? There it is. Nope. Up. No, that's not it either. Where was the crossing? Did I just completely miss it? The crossing must have been for the track on the bottom, not for the top one here, so that might make a little bit more sense. School bus there. It is early in the morning. 7:23 in-game time. Yeah, I think it was just for the crossing there. On the Y down to the coal mine. Alrighty, so while we get moving here, I do want to talk about a few things. First off, am I enjoying Train Sim World 2? And, well, I haven't had too much time to really play around with this sim. I'm hoping this week I can get a little bit more time in, just play around, check some things out. But for the most part, I'm really enjoying myself with it. Yes, there's a lot of people who are on the fence of getting this because they feel that, well, what's the point of buying this? The horn is super quiet. Window's closed. Goodness. Get through this town. Old station. Another station. Got some people walking around. Very good. That was something I complained about. Some of these rats don't have enough like life in them, it seems. But yeah, there's people on the fence as to whether or not it's worth it because oh, it's just the same sim with maybe like the addition of the livery creator. But I think the biggest reason is that, well, this is on an updated Unreal Engine 4 game engine, like one of the most updated ones. And the previous version of Train Sim World was not. It was on like one of the original, one of the early versions of the Unreal Engine 4. So there's an optimization boost in TSW2 that I think is worth getting. Oops, I hit the keyboard. Everything runs a lot smoother. It's, graphics wise, it's, fairly the same as what the original Train Sim World was, but I think it's slightly better. I guess I'll just run smoother. I don't know how much I can say other than it really runs smoother. So I can understand why people, are saying maybe it's not worth getting, but I do feel that this version of Train Sim World is a great stepping stone into adding more things down the road. And I keep saying co-op multiplayer. If you can have one person be the engineer, the other one be the conductor, and that'd be cool for both these long hauls and these yard jobs as well. I think that would be an awesome addition. You also have the option to create your own scenarios. I mean, we do have our own version of that in the game, but it's not like the previous train simulator where you could actually go to the map, do flyovers, select your locos and your cars and schedule, what you want done, what you want the player to do with that. Oh, this crossing is far away. This might be the summit as well. No, it's not. Okay. I thought the building would be over here. I guess it's not this curve. In this version, the most you can do is select preset consist and have them go from one destination to another. You know, we don't have that immersive editor where we can do whatever the heck we want and make people do, you know, whatever they want to do or are forced to do. You know, we don't have that, you know, but I think this version of the sim will help the developers get to that point where you can make your own in-depth scenarios and hopefully share them to the workshop. Like we have, gosh, we're already in not shape now. We have the livery editor, which I think is great because there's a lot of people out there who don't have access to Photoshop, or they don't understand how to use templates to make paints. So to have the livery editor, I think is cool because, you know, it's just like a lot of other racing games like Forza Motorsports and Gran Turismo, I believe, has a good livery editor. But, you know, you can use preset shapes and your possibilities are endless. I mean, just look at some of the paint schemes that people make on Forza Motorsports. You know, I've made a lot over the years that are fairly realistic. And so, you know, even with all those shapes, you can be creative with, you know, what you have and make some pretty in-depth, realistic liveries and reskins of either your own fantasy railroads or a real-life railroad. This road is still being worked on. There we go. I timed the horn sequence pretty well there. So the next step that Dovetail Games needs to do with the livery editor is, first off, expand the number of layers you can use. Maybe add some more fonts and be able to share those liveries on the Steam Workshop. Again, there just needs to be Steam Workshop integrations because otherwise those features are somewhat useless to a lot of people. So they need to do that. But like I said, regardless, this build of the sim, I think, will help Dovetail Games get to that point. You know, that's really all I have to say. Now, they've added a lot of things. Or here's another thing too. A lot of people glance over this fact, but Train Sim World has been a fairly new thing on console. It's been, I think this is the second year that the previous Train Sim World version has been on the Xbox One and the PlayStation 4. And that's all fine and dandy. However, this route, Sandpatch Grade, was not on console. And the reason for it, I think, is very silly. I heard it in the live stream. Matt Pedalston and Colonial Failure were talking in a stream, but basically the frame rate issues with Sandpatch Grade were caused by the crossing gates from the actuating crossing gates on this route, which I think, like I said, is a very silly thing. Now, I don't think that's all of it, because I think this new version of the Unreal Engine 4 is also very optimized, and fairly optimized for the fact that it runs smoother. So I think that will help, you know, for console players, but for that reason, it just wasn't stable on console. So now this version of Train Sim World 2, you can play it on console now, which is phenomenal. Like, I mean, there's a lot of people out there who, they don't have that in their minds. They're still complaining about, oh, it's the same sim. But for those on console who don't have a good enough PC and can't play Train Sim World because it, you know, is maybe too much for whatever the PC they might, specs that they might have, or just don't have one at all, they can now play Sandpatch Grade and CSX Heavy Haul on console. And now you're opening up to a wide... Why are we speeding? Now you're opening up to a very wide group of players now to have access to CSX Heavy Haul. And, you know, it just shows that they can put really long routes in the sim and on console now. So I would expect a lot of very long distance routes coming in in the future, which I think will be super nice. So that's my rant about it. Like I said, a lot of people forget that. But yeah, you can now play CSX Heavy Haul on console, which I think is a great addition. So anyways, I think we just now passed the summit of Sandpatch Grade. So next distance, next location is Hyndman. I think that's your mountain, Hyndman. Now we're going through the tunnels, going through the mountains. So I did not realize our speed dropped to 30 miles per hour, so that's why I was freaking out as to why we had to slow down so much. Okay, so there's an issue with the tunnels. I guess the tunnel render distance only goes so far for the light, so we're following that. But it just, in general, the light itself, I feel like we should be able to see more down forward. So something that they need to work on, I think, is the lighting system of the locomotive, because this shouldn't be all lit up. Like, everything down the tunnels, and especially to the tracks to a certain point, should be lit up, you know, fairly well. I guess it's not horrible. Put on our horn and bell, just let people know that there's an engine coming out. You can see the corners of the tunnel is cut away, just so the double stack intermodal locomotives can clear that. That's quite impressive. That's a cool little detail. Coming out of the tunnel here. Just doing a little coasting phase. I'm gonna try the dynamic brake here, since we get to a good setup. And one. Don't really need it too much. You can see it there on the amperage. It's working its magic. Yeah, it's not too bad. Still 30 miles per hour. Very, very slow through here. Got the all clear for this one. So some other things coming up. There's a lot of good things with the roadmap that Dovetail Games has released for this sim. There's a lot of things that, well, they've already added Peninsula Corridor, which I think is great. That route seems to already be optimized for TSW2, especially since it's a fairly new route. So that's already out, and I know I'll play it here on TSW2. I'm only really focused on the American routes. I guess the other American route that looks good is, or the other North American route is the Canadian National Oakville subdivision. That one is going to be coming fairly soon. I think that one's going to come within the next coming months. But one that I was disappointed wasn't on that list was Northeast Corridor, or in fact the Long Island transit route. That one it is on the roadmap, but Northeast Corridor is not. And I don't know if I'm more confused about that. However, I do understand why it might not be coming, you know, within the next couple of months. One of the things with that route is that it's just very short. It's nothing close to the version of Northeast Corridor on the original Train Simulator. The one in the original Train Simulator is super long in length. I don't know how many miles it covers, but it's one of the biggest routes in Train Simulator, or at least in American routes for sure. But in Train Sim World, that route is very short, but also graphics-wise, the most complicated one to explain. It's fairly, like, frame rate wise, didn't see this crossing. Whoopsie daisies. Is this the famous part about Sandpatch Grade? The Manse post office, the very top. I'm too busy ranting, I didn't even see the, yeah, I'll put it in 2 for now. I didn't even see the whistle boards at the crossing. But anyways, but yeah, graphics-wise and frame-wise, that route doesn't do too great. But also, there's a few places along the CSX line, when you go past the Hell's Gate Bridge and going like towards New York, but then right where it splits off from Amtrak going down to New York City to where CSX continues on, just the surrounding is not very detailed. It's pretty poor. So if they're holding Northeast Corridor off because they either want to expand it and or fix those issues where just the surrounding scenery doesn't look that good, then that's good that Dovetail Games knows that because that route does need some graphics improvements, it needs some performance improvements, and just the things that you can do on that route is pretty lackluster. So I really hope that that's coming up and is on their to-do list. Again, as an American, all I really care about is the North American routes. I will be exploring some of the other ones as well because, you know, they're a part of the sim, and I think it's cool to experience other railroads. But North American, you know, wise, I think it's just been a little bit lackluster because their focus is European routes and routes from the UK. Like I said, it's not a bad thing. But it just seemed like they overload a lot more European stuff than they do American stuff. So yeah, but like I said, Peninsula Corridor, the Caltrain stuff and Union Pacific, that is in Train Sim World 2, a part of the Preserved Collection. So if you owned that in the original Train Sim World, then it comes over to TSW2. That's also another thing that people complain about. It's like, why am I paying for the same sim? Well, you know, you're paying for an updated version of it, but like I said, you're getting all of that content that you owned in the original Train Sim World for free in Train Sim World 2. So just pay the $25 to get Train Sim World 2. Heck, I think I paid for like 18 or whatever. I don't know how much it was discounted on when you did the pre-order, or when you could do the pre-order stuff. It was fairly cheap. And then, like I said, you get all of that. There's the whistle board. I saw it now. You know, and then, get this, get it updated, and then eventually the collection that you had from the original Train Sim World will come over here to Train Sim World 2, and you can play it at better frame rates, better graphics qualities. Just all in all, I think it's a better experience, especially when you got Flight Simulator that looks outstanding. I can't wait to get that. You have this, who doesn't like a good old driving some trains around? And like I said, the trees, look at that. You can still see the trees off in like that mountain back there. You see the trees over here across to the other side. Goodness me, this is beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. What's also beautiful is that we finally hit the 35 mile per hour speed limit. Yay! So we will be able to go quicker, but we can't. Yeah, we're gonna do a little bit more brake. Dynamic brake is really weird. I kind of understand how it works, kind of don't. But you have to wait till the entire consist is past that speed limit sign, which I don't know how they do that in real life. I guess. And here you can do, I don't know. Exit, there we go. You can do like distance setup, and you can get like the size of your consist and things like that. But that's probably how they do it in real life. Oh no, we got a 25 coming up. Shoot. Oh, I'm going the wrong way on everything right now. Just apply some minimum reduction there. This is a slow section of rail. I also saw a whistle board, and yep. Slowly moving. We're about to get ready for the... Oh, maybe we don't need... Yeah, we'll need some dynamic brake here in a sec. Whoa, that is a steep road. Don't know how realistic is that. Wow, this is slow. Goodness me. Slow and steady, though, and we'll get this manifest train to Cumberland someday. Oh, there's road traffic over there. Yeah, I understand why people will hate on this sim. You know, I'm not going to go into detail as to what I think people think about it or what I've seen people say about it. But how can you not love the fact that you can get out of your seat, get out of the locomotive, and walk around on the ground and along the tracks? And, you know, the immersion with that, and just the realism. Oh, we do have a crossing grade here. Sorry, I don't know why I go quiet every time we get to a grade crossing. I guess it's just me focusing on it. You're supposed to do that in real life too. You shouldn't be just nonchalantly going past crossing grades, not caring about it. But to walk around, get out of your locomotive, instead of in the previous train simulator where you had to, you know, you're only, I mean, yeah, you had that first person view, but for the most part, if you did uncoupling or if you need to go to a switch, you either do that via the maps or you, or through the HUD, you scroll through the consist and uncouple, you know, your cars and whatnot. And then here you can physically go to those cars and uncouple them. You know, yeah, you can still fly around and uncouple cars and do things like that. But for the most part, like I said, like this immersion factor just feels way more realistic. And I don't understand how you can't not like that. I enjoy pretty much every second of this. Like I said, just the realism with this is phenomenal. You know, like I said, I think the best sim you can compare this to is Flight Sim. You know, but instead you're getting the, you know, you have all the controls, you all have the realistic controls and the realistic brakes that I still can't figure out. But the graphics are phenomenal. You can really feel the weight of these things. I mean, it feels legitimately real that you have a legitimate consist, a freight cars, a heavy locomotive, but, you know, a locomotive with a ton of power. Like, so good. It's awesome. Like, a lot of people are missing out, I feel, but that's okay. You know, like, we can all enjoy it and we can all have fun doing this. The best will be having multiplayer co-op sometime down the line, because especially with yard jobs, it's not realistic that the engineer walks out of the locomotive to do all the things you need to do, such as coupling cars and you know, coupling, uncoupling, throwing switches. No, that's all done by the conductor. As well as putting consists together. It's all done by the conductor. And you know, if you watch rail fanning videos, you watch some people who rail fan yard work, you know, and then they have the radios where they can listen on into the crews. Just that, the coolness of the conductor going out and giving the engineer, you know, information on how they're doing. It's like, all right, you're you know, 2 cars, 1 car, you know, and then they might be giving them like yardage, or giving them some type of distance and telling them how far away they are, and then telling them like, all right, they're coupled, you know, and then to do, you know, just all those technical things with railroading. And I think co-op would really bring that immersion out, because that's how it is in the real life. You have one person doing all that work, helping the engineer knows, you know, where he needs to put his locomotive, what he needs to do, and you have the conductor out there who's throwing the switches, making sure all the cars are coupled together. And I think that would be so cool. So I hope that's what multiplayer comes to in Train Sim World. I'm hoping it's not, you know, like, hey, you know, people can run trains wherever in a server, you know, that'd just be too much of a headache. And I think the game and the servers couldn't handle that, but yeah, I truly think that would help bring the immersion out on this sim. I mean, heck, our NPC character here, you know, fine and dandy, but they don't really do anything. Especially in these timetables, they don't help you with anything. If you're in a career scenario, you know, you get told prompts and things like that. But even in here, you're not. And what would be even more cool is, you know, another immersion factor is that I don't know if it's the conductor or the engineer, but usually every time you get to a signal light, you get to a signal bridge, or you're coming across like a junction or something, usually the conductor is just on the radio. And I think it's like by railroad standards, you have to update them on, you know, what their signal is, you know, we're coming out to, you know, clear, you know, give him a milepost, you know, as well as having, like, you have the detector boxes throughout the railroads as well. It'd be nice if we could have those in Train Sim World too. I know that it's in the original Train Simulator, but they need to, I think, incorporate it in here. But that's another realistic aspect too, you know, and making sure that thing, you know, gives you accurate, you know, axle counts and, you know, train length, but also if there's any defects, you know, to your consist. But this is, like I said, this sim is a step forward in that direction. So yeah, hoping for the best with Dovetail Games. Like I said, I'm just really impressed by this sim. It's just optimized so well. I mean, I'm playing on full graphics quality, and I think in the original Train Sim World, it was having really horrible frame drops. But this is at 60 frames per second. It's at a smooth, constant 60 frames per second, which is really nice. And speaking of which, we've got the clear here. Do we have a milepost on that? Milepost 2019.2. A lot of those will read, a lot of those distances are from either like certain headquarters or yards. So that's why the miles are large, but that's not in relation to anything close to like Cumberland or anything like that. That's a 35. We've got the 35 board, which we can't use yet. Oh, and then we have a 30 right after that. See, what's the point of speeding up through there? We're really slow through here. This is much slower than I thought we would travel through Sandpatch Grade. The river going under us again. I see a whistle post. The bell on here. Yeah, the bell is louder than the horn. There's some audio things that need to be tweaked. There we go. Nice little town. A quaint little town that we're gonna wake up with our horn. at Dovetail Games, they did say that they fixed the issue with the frame drops because of the crossing grades that I was ranting on earlier. They said they do have a fix on that, so I'm hoping that's also in early development and in the stages of being ready to release as an update, that they can actually incorporate actuating crossing gates without there being any frame rate issues. Hopefully that's the case. I know Peninsula Corridor doesn't have that. I think the only route that had it in was Sandpatch Grade here. Any route since has not had that detail, so it'd be nice if that detail was in there, because I know there's a lot of people who like doing rail fanning videos, and a lot of people will go up to the, crossing grades, and use that as a cue for how close the locomotives are to get their shots of, locomotive going by. So I'm hoping that's something that they can easily incorporate sooner than later in a nice little update. Oh, it does give the percentage of dynamic brake. Okay, I don't know why I was guesstimating how much dynamic brake I was putting into the locomotive, but there you go. I love that HUD. I have my second opinions on this HUD layout, and I think it's really nice. But yeah, I think the most important ones is the brakes on the very bottom. I need to figure out how to turn off the notifications on the top right there that you see, like power handle, brake 2 lever. I got to figure out how to turn that off, if that's even an option, since now you can see everything pretty clearly on the HUD in the bottom, so you don't need those prompts on the top right to show you how much input you're using, especially when you're in third person, because the HUD is still on when you're in third person. So but not too shabby. Ooh, traffic over there, very nice. Traffic is always an issue in the original train sim world, especially when doing route building. Oh, no. Dynamic brake. It's always an issue because sometimes cars spawn and sometimes cars don't. And it seems like cars spawning on roads is pretty consistent. So that's good to see. Like, I like in Peninsula Corridor especially, just the amount of traffic that's around I think is good. There still needs to be miscellaneous activities and things going on with like NPC characters, NPC like people, and like equipment moving around. I think that would make more of these routes feel more at life, because for the most part you drive by places and it just looks dead. There's nothing there, it's just a warehouse, empty parking lot, like there's no details in it. So I'm hoping when we get a little bit more of that. Yeah, see, like we got like a pickup truck over there. Would be nice if there were some people around nearby. Continuing to cut through the Appalachian Mountains. A little bit more dynamic brake. Just a little bit speeding. It's cool we still get AP points. I mean, we don't get the full 13 action points when you're under this speed, but even if you're like a few miles per hour, at least you still get action points after a while. It's a great system. I like the action point stuff. There needs to be challenges. I mean, I guess, well, there needs to be more career mode scenarios, but it'd be cool if there's like mini challenges that you can do. I know the mastery challenges, I think that's what they call them. They're not bringing that into Train Sim World 2 until a later date. But I do like how that's incorporated into the original Train Simulator. So as soon as we get that feature into Train Sim World 2, I think that would be a lot of fun. I know there's a lot of unlockables, and I noticed one of the... I might go play them eventually, but maybe make some videos on them. But for the Long Island transit route, one of the unlockables is like a car, I think it is. So it's like a very pixelated image that you know is a car. But when you unlock that, does that mean that car is now on the roads? Like, I'm really curious as to what that means. But, ooh, we got another tunnel. Do my horn for a bit. Oh, and the river goes right under there, too. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, you got the horn echo through the tunnel, not bad. But anyways, yeah, like, I was interested in that, and I still don't really have an answer for it. Oh, and then the river wraps back around that way. That is so cool. But anyways, but yeah, I like those. Like, if there's unlockables like that, you can unlock scenic things, then that'd be a pretty neat challenge. But just in general, like, there needs to be more, not interactive things, but just more NPC random activities going on throughout a route. And maybe it could be randomized, you know, depending on what you load up. Certain activities might show, you know, in the surroundings. Some of them might not. So yeah, that might be cool. Alright, we're coming up to that, still at a 30-mile-per-hour mark. Still 4.7 miles from Hyndman, which is, or Hyndman, however you're supposed to pronounce it. Another crossing grade. Dynamic brake is working hard. Yeah, horn is a bit quiet. I wish it was a bit loud. I wish that was a bit louder and the bell was a bit softer. Especially when you do have the windows closed. I think the GP38-2 and the SD40-2 has that same issue. Yeah, see, I'm barely using dynamic brakes. I mean, we've been about 20%, 30%. But when we were going up that incline, we were using notch 7, notch 8 for most of it. So, I don't know. Maybe some of that is realistic for heavy inclines, but I'm not 100% sure. But I'm utilizing the dynamic brake pretty well, better than I thought. I've never liked using the dynamic brakes because I've just had a hard time understanding that concept in the original train simulator, but it seems to make sense in this sim a lot. It seems to be working pretty well. Still got the all clear here. Have to be careful and make sure they are clear. Mile marker 1968. Yeah, I do like sitting in the cab for a lot of these. I mean, we can go out exterior. I'm cool with that. Take a look at everything going by. I used to like playing Train Simulator in third-person view, but ever since Train Sim World came about, and for as much first-person on foot that you can actually do, I genuinely like being in the cab for the most part. Hear the dynamic brakes working. roadway over there. Pretty cool. Back in the cab. We haven't had a little rail fan moment, so I'll be sure to do that sometime down the line. And we can get a little rail fan shot. So we're going downhill by a lot. We're still restricted to 30 miles an hour. Yeah, let's get one up here. This looks like a cool area. Yeah, we're slowing down too much. One of these days I'll do a legitimate rail fan video. I haven't seen too many of them on Train Sim World, but I'll put one together someday. Alright, so we still got the clear here and the next signal. There needs to be zoom on the controller, that'd be nice. Oh, I can't see that. 9.48. I think the 2 stands for the track that you're on, so we're in like track 2. The left one is track 1. There we go. Okay. Now we're going a bit quick. Going a bit quick. There we go. See, as soon as we get past Hyndman, it's like a straight shot to Cumberland. So there we go. And in just under 2 miles, we'll be in the 50-mile-per-hour range. You can just fly down to Cumberland. Yeah, I know we're speeding. I just need the dynamic brake to kick in. The ambient sounds too really cool. You got the creaking and the cracking of the locomotive. Just the sound of it on the rails is pretty cool. There we go. A little barn over there. A little house. I do like these trees as well. They're better than a lot of the trees in the original Train Simulator. They just are more full, more dense, which is nice. Look at that. See the valley off in that window. Some houses over there. Buildings off in the distance, and some down that way. So the other thing too, I mentioned about the Train Simulator creator and the scenario builder, but in Train Sim World 2, that's also something that I think will be incorporated down the line as a route creator. And hopefully it gets incorporated with either Google Maps, like we've been able to use for the original train simulator, or Bing Maps, whatever suits Dovetail Games and what they use. But I think the one thing is hard is that since this game is being built on a actual game engine and it's not built from like scratch like the original train simulators were, it's harder to incorporate that creator into it and that route builder. And I should stop calling it a creator, a route builder into it. So I think if they can get the route builder to the point where they can like incorporate all the track assets and the trees and scenery and locomotives and all that stuff, and terrain tools without the player being able to access the internal game and change the internal game in some way, then I think they're going to be golden. But it's just getting around that loophole and how they're going to do that. But I think it'll work out. I hope that'll be cool, because I think there'd be a lot of cool custom routes being made. There's some cool ones that I can think of, especially with the livery editor. I have a way of painting locomotives. I mean, I can use Photoshop, but I can use the livery editor, and maybe if there's certain locomotives added down the line, I might try to create a railroad nearby. So this is Hyndman. I know that because there's a scenario, I think I did the scenario on this channel, maybe, where you take a cut of rail cars to that siding over here, which means we are getting ever closer to Cumberland. Very good. Another whistle across the bridge. Or whistle, or cross. Two crossing coming up actually. Oh, we can do 50 now apparently. Just saw that tick over. Ellerslie, I believe it's how it's pronounced. We got that coming up in 11 miles. Still a long ways to go, but it's helpful that we got a 50. And this is where I don't like the speed indicator in the bottom and how that little marker works for your speed limit. I don't really like how that works because it's hard to see. It just doesn't pop out. You think it would because it's red, but I didn't even notice it jumped up to 50. Yeah, I didn't realize the back of the train had caught the 50, or one of the first 50 mile/hour bucks. But yeah, we're gonna be at some speed for once. It would be nice if we had just some more Midwestern, railroads and routes. Like, I live by the Erie West subdivision of CSX, and for the most part, they're, at speed. They're at 60, 65 miles per hour going down the main line. And I think there's something satisfying about driving locomotives that quick and all. So I really hope that we got some routes like that. And I'm totally biased over CSX, but I would like some more CSX routes. I think they'd be a cool addition. Yeah, just listen to the sounds there because we're using the brakes Or using dynamic brake a bit, just slowing up the loco. And we're going downhill, so we don't really need that much in the way of power. Consist is just shoving us down the grade. Another crossing. Next crossing we come up to, I'll do another rail fanning post up. Little side rail, side camera action, whatever you want to call it. I don't know. I'm coasting along pretty well here. Still got the all clear in the top right. The next signal in 0.7 miles. Got a little bit more AP points, which is cool. Oh yeah, the sounds are phenomenal. Just those ambient noises are pretty cool. That's another mile marker there on the bottom. Up the signal just past that way. Got the all clear. Yep. Green one on the right is ours. There's just a bit of lag and frame drop when you go between the controller and then you go between the mouse to zoom in. That gets a little bit annoying. I don't know if they can really fix that or not, but I noticed that in the original Train Sim world as well. That was an issue. Still cruising along. I think we just have the dynamic brake and setup. That's how smooth this is. I mean, it's holding a perfect speed. We went at 49 miles per hour for quite some time. Got the river beside us. It's crazy how we went just winding through the mountains, and I mean we're here at this point where it's, you know, we're still going downhill, but I mean, it's like I said, it's just a straight shot really to Cumberland. Oh, there we go. There's our first got an intermodal coming. There we go. Powered by two SD40-2s. That's quite a quite a power. I mean, they're hauling the mail though. Look at them. No, that's actually a very small intermodal train. They don't even have DPUs on that or anything. That's what I don't like. That's not realistic there. It should be way longer than that. It should be twice the length of that. So, oh well. I don't like how slow the what camera is it called? The free camera. I think it's a bit too slow for my liking. Got a crossing grade coming up here. Two of them actually. Oh yeah, I remember this. You know, everything from here south is a bit more familiar to me. Been through here. Small road, who knows where those go. Whoops. Oh, we got a sun visor. Accidentally clicked out. Oh, we got the I forget what yellow actually stands for. The approach. I forget what the exact terminology is, but it means approach, but approach as in be prepared to stop at the next signal. I forget the like I said, there's a certain phrase that yellow means. It's approach something something something, which, like I said, explains that you might need to stop at the next signal and just got to proceed at a slower slower speed, and be prepared to stop at the next one. So we'll see if that's true or not. All right, now we still got the 50 mile per hour zones. And yeah, that's a 50 there. Passengers can do 79. So Amtrak could yeet through here. Ellerslie is still 4.5 miles. Still going to go via that. Coming up 1 mile till the signal bridge here. I think we can just see it in the distance there. That's about a mile. Also station. Ooh, I don't remember seeing this. There's some businesses out here. Very nice. Ah, yeah, and then it opens up some farmland over here. Got some farms in the distance. Whistle post coming up. Or crossing coming up as we pass the whistle post. Blow the horn through here. Open the window up. There we go. Oh, we got another one. Yep, there's the yellow. You can see it off in the distance. So a mile is actually much longer and far away than I thought it was. Getting a phone call. I wonder who that's from. Alright, so the next one is still yellow, but it's another 2 miles away. Should be okay here. A straight shot. Go ahead and bring up the speed just a bit. Why not? Get back to 50 so we don't have to stop the next one. Scenery is nice. I can't get over the scenery. It's really cool. It's really good. I don't have a crossing up here, do we? No. Oh, there is a whistle board up there. So we will have one coming up. Forgot if there's one right on this curve. Put the bell on right at the whistle board. Wait a little bit. Oh, we're coming up to a 35. It's good that I saw that. 500 yards to the 35. Let's see if we can get a stop there in time. Where is it? There it is, right at the corner. We're going to slow down a little bit more here. Did not see that coming, but thankfully I saw it at the last second. Oh yeah, we'll stop for it. Or we'll slow down for it in time. Very good, very good. That is one thing too, is trying to judge your distance. That's one thing I've been challenging myself with in Train Sim World, is turning off the waypoint indicators like I did earlier, and just using the HUD here. Because in real life you don't have these, you know, invisible, or not invisible, these, you know, hologram waypoints and things like that telling you where the next speed limit board is or where the next signal is. So I've been trying to challenge myself in turning a lot of those off to get the real simulation aspect in and what it's like in real life to control these things. A little gas station, a little church, another quaint little village and town. Looks like business is off the track. Milepost 1816. We have the approach with caution, maybe. That might be what it's called. I'll figure out the terminology shortly. We do have 60 mile per hour coming up. Got no signal information yet. The next signal block might be for a while. Yep, that's red. So it looks like we will be forced to stop. Very interesting. Okay. We're following traffic. Oh, there's a car right there. Yeah, there's a car. They're not highly detailed things, but it's a car nonetheless. The wheels turn. That's better than the original train simulator. So the wheels move on the cars. Yeah, they're not horrible models, especially since you can't copy the real life ones, or at least you can't brand them like the real life ones. It's speeding just a bit. So we got 2 miles until the red. Got about 0.7 miles to the 25. We won't be able to use the 60 miles per hour. I think the 60 miles per hour is for this little stretch here. Maybe if you're going light, which means it's just you as a locomotive, but yeah, see now 35 coming up right again here. So we had the 60, but it's gonna drop back down to 35 right here, and then we do have a 25 coming up. Let's go ahead and turn the. We'll just coast down to the 25 here. We'll start doing minimum reduction, which is usually good enough for these slow speed increments. Actually, we'll put in release. Still got some time. Engine's gonna slowly coast down to 25 anyways, whether we like it or not. Put some power here to get back moving. We're definitely operating this, and we've been operating this underperforming in this scenario, but that's okay. It's a better safe than sorry kind of thing in railroading. I mean, I guess it's the same in flying as well for flight sim. And I keep talking about it. I want to get it. My brother says we have to get a better hard drive for his PC because the current one does not work. It's not optimized very well. Alright, so we're coming into Ellerslie. Here's our 25. Put minimum reduction just a little bit. Just gonna speed back down. I forgot if Ellerslie is like right in front of Cumberland or if there's still some distance to go after Ellerslie to Cumberland. We'll see. But we're gonna get to that destination here in under 50 yards. Objective complete. Oh, we've got the yellow. Okay. Oh, and it's turned to clear. Okay. So usually you wouldn't, in real life you wouldn't know that. Maybe unless dispatcher says, but yeah, it's probably just waiting for us to get to that point. But we're still chugging along at just under 25 miles per hour. Been at this for a long time. It truly is over an hour and a half to do this. Nice steady crawl into Cumberland. Boy, this locomotive is just moving around. We leveled out here, but power back on here. Back in notch 3. Really struggling. Notch 4. See, this is where I find hard. We can't be struggling this bad. We're 42 cars, 2 locomotives. We're not... Are we even increasing our speed? There we go. Increasing it slightly there. Yeah, that's what I'm not too sure about. I don't think that's realistic. Bridge 2. So they had to put a man-made barrier there for the river. And you got the bridge over there as well. Yep, and we're entering Cumberland right now. We did it, guys. We made it through the entire route. Who knows how many of you guys actually stuck along to watch. But we made it. Yep, and there's the clear. I'm going to assume... I mean, this is not a no-whistle zone. You know, they still have the whistle post up. Assuming we'll blow our horn through these. Ah, yes, welcome to Cumberland. These static gates also have no bell sounds or anything like that, so it's also a wee bit disappointing. Alright, we still got the clear up ahead here, just under 300 yards, as well as 25 miles per hour. Got a lot of grade changes right here. Along the rails. Back up to 0.7. You can visually see it too, it's ridiculous. That signals for the little siding over there. Don't know where that goes. It actually goes pretty far. We're in the town of Cumberland. Yeah, it's pretty nice, not too bad. Very well detailed. The bridge. Oh, we're in a 15. I did not see that 15. Darn it. Horrible. Okay. Slow it on down. Oof, yanking it to a stop. Goodness. I feel like there's more detail in this version of Cumberland than in the original Train Sim world. Or I'm just noticing it now because we're heading this direction, not the other way. Wow, we are literally at a stop. Come on. Let's go. That'll be the last crossing grade we have to deal with. Slowly working our way into Cumberland. That might be the Amtrak station there. Cumberland. Yeah, that's probably the Amtrak terminal there. So there's a little station here in Cumberland, but I don't think Rockwood or whatever. I keep getting that town wrong. I think it's Rockwood. I don't think that has a station there, so it'd be pointless to try to replicate Amtrak service here. It would be fairly boring for the most part. Maybe we do have another crossing? No, that's facing the other way, just for the one behind us. Slowly making our way. This is a 35, so it's just 15 there through the main city portion. We got 3 miles to the Cumberland Receiving Yard, so we're going into the yard. Maybe the first time we check the map out today. Yes, it will be. Oh, we're going all the way past Cumberland itself. And then, so there's a secondary yard down here. That's pretty cool. I haven't explored anything past the main Cumberland area here, so that should be fairly interesting. So we will be getting back up to speed, but we're not going to do so quickly, especially since we have to go into, I think, some yard tracks. So just waiting for the speed to increase. We do have a yellow. We do have an approach at 0.8 miles. Ranking up those AP points. Train Simulator is definitely one of those Flight Sim is kind of like that too. It's just these sims are way better. Oh, we got train exiting the yard. They're just way better if you stream them, do live streams on them, but my internet is not capable of live streaming, sadly, so but if I get better internet, or if I find my own place sometime down the line, get better internet, I will definitely do some streaming. Looks like we got a little manifest coming out of Cumberland. Two SD40-2s. So a little hello to them. They're also got a manifest heading northbound. Perfect timing as well, by the way. The timing then that we've been on must be really good. That they're not waiting, or we're waiting from them because we've been too slow. So I'll call that a win. That seems to be timely spaced. And as always, of course, if you do that scenario, you'll probably see this consist CQ352 go by. Oh, cool! There's some DP. See, that's a really short consist, but we got some DPUs. That's 2 AC4400s. That's what doesn't make any sense. That's a very odd combination. The SD40-2 should be the one behind pushing, but like I said, that should also be a much longer consist, so I don't know what that's all about. Alright, we're in that 35 mile per hour zone that we can use if needed. We'll go ahead and accelerate our way through this. So we got yellow on top of red over green. So that usually means we're going to be switching off into some yard tracks if the bottom one is green. Or if it's red over green. I don't know. That's what I think it is. I'm pretty sure that's true. We're not switching off anytime soon, though. I don't think we're switching off to the left here. We shouldn't be. No, we shouldn't be. Power back down. Here's Cumberland. I will say I'm getting slight frame drops. It's nothing too horrible as compared to what I've experienced before. There we are. Here's the yard. We've done it. Made it through the grade. There's a long cold train there. Oh my gosh. 2 SD40-2s. There are definitely longer consists in this game, in this sim, but some of these need to be longer, like ours. But goodness, maybe I need to try that one. That's a long, I mean, it's an empty coal train, it looks, so that's a long consist. Definitely try to give that a shot. Same with the intermodals, some of them need to be a bit longer in length, I feel. Speed on through here. This will look familiar from the last video because we worked just over here to the right, looking at the Cumberland repair shop for the rail cars. The turntable and everything else is back over there to the right. So we're still doing a bit of route learning here because we're going into a section that I have not been to. Good, cruising along here. So we still got 50 the speed. Yep, we're coming up to a 15 here shortly, so let's go ahead and put that into idle. Let's get the initial reduction on. This thing will pretty much stop on a dime with that. The automatic brakes that are all throughout the train and all the cars. Oh yeah, we'll be fine. We will be fine. And here's the hump yard to our right, and there's the old hump there that they used to use to classify locomotives, classify rail cars, which they don't use anymore. Yep, we're doing good, slowing it on down. 1.6 miles to the Cumberland Receiving Yard stop. Just under 250 yards to the 15-mile-per-hour zone. Oh, there's some old-style lights. I don't know what the white... Oh, wait, that... Yeah, clear. The whites, the two whites that way is clear, red, left and right. Stop, yellow up and down would then be the approach. And whatever. Yep, 1.8 miles is the stop, but that's okay because we're going to be pulling off to the right here in Cumberland. And there's the tower that would control the hump. There's the hump right there, which I think you can actually ride on. Yeah, that might be a tutorial or a scenario for the hump yard one. I forget what you actually do in it, but I think you just move cars around, but you have to use the hump to get to do your job. Let's pull the consist along a little bit more. Yep. Here's the crest of it. This is where they go over. And they have track underneath? I actually didn't know that. How is it? That is interesting. That's one way of doing things. That grade is incredibly steep. Thankfully, when they're just pushing like a handful of cars at once, it's not much work. 0.2% grade. Make it up into here. Yeah, so that wasn't too bad. It's definitely a longer video. I appreciate those who maybe watched the entire thing through, especially since I ranted a lot and didn't have too much to say for the most part, but sometimes that's just the beauty of running these scenarios and these long distance hauls is, you know, you're just taking in the scenery really. And just doing whatever is at task for you. Let's check if we failed this or something like that. I probably spoke too soon. Hopefully this is the right track as well. Shall we have a look? Yep, we're supposed to be in that one. That will take us all the way around to there. Very good. I guess my final thoughts for this scenario, or in this video at least, is, yeah, I really like the progression that Dovetail Games is going. There's a lot of other games that sometimes their direction isn't right, and that's been very clear in the racing gaming community as of late. So I kind of know what maybe isn't worth my money and what is. But I can tell you that for a train simulator, for all the other train sims that are out there, and for this one in particular by Dovetail Games, you know, I like the direction that they're going in. I like how they built a new sim from the ground up on the Unreal Engine 4. Just the immersion factor with this version of Train Simulator is pretty cool. The fact that you can play this on console is also, you know, very cool. So you're not required to buy a hefty PC, even though I think for most part a gaming PC is still a better route to go down than buying a new console every 5 or 6 years, but I digress. A lot of good coming out of it. I still have to try out a lot of the features and explore other routes here in Train Sim World 2. I definitely want to do a video on the livery creator because I have some cool videos that I might want to make with that. But yeah, overall, really enjoying this. Now, there's a new CSX route coming on Train Simulator 2020, you know, the original Train Simulator, or TS1, as some people will refer to it. That's getting a new CSX route, which is not sandpatch grade, sadly. It's called the Hanover subdivision, but it's got a SD40-3. And either someone at Dovetail Games or High Iron Simulations, the ones that are publishing this this route, they must be listening to me or listening to the community or know a thing or two about railroading. You know, who would have thought? Gasp. But there's an SD40-3 coming out in that, and I'm kind of hoping for the SD40-3s and the GP38-3s to become a thing in Train Sim World for CSX, because a lot of these standard cab locomotives are being changed to that. We obviously have the AC4400, which is a big powerhouse on the CSX roster. However, and I did see that on the roadmap, they are going to try to work out a new CSX locomotive. I think it's the Dash 8, or the C40-8, I think is what it's called, which is very similar to the AC4400. So I don't really see the point of having that locomotive in there, but the ES44ACs and the ET44ACs or AHs, I don't know what they're called, those are fairly popular on CSX, and I'm hoping if there is more CSX in the future that they can incorporate those routes, or not those routes, those locomotives into the routes. But there's a new tier of locomotives called, or CSX names is it the ST? I think it's the ST70AHs. ST70AHs. I might have gotten that wrong. There's only, I think, 9 of them that CSX has acquired, but they're the new Tier 4 locomotives, and those by EMD, and those things are gorgeous locomotives. So it's probably unrealistic to add them into the sandpatch grade route, because I think all 9 of those new locomotives are down in Florida, down in the Bone Valley, and such like that. And those would be some cool routes to do if they did like the Bone Valley or any of those other routes in Florida. But if they incorporated the EMD ST70AHs by CSX, that'd be cool. There's a few of them on the Union Pacific roster as well. So if Union Pacific gets another route in Train Sim World, that'd be awesome if they added that. But yeah, overall, I really like what's going on. We need a Burlington Northern Santa Fe route. We need we just need more North American routes, really. There's some good Canadian routes too that I think would be nice. We still got another 200 yards to go. Brakes are like even the initial reduction is very sensitive. YN2 scheme with a YN3B scheme behind. pull up a little bit more. Nice building off there in the distance. It would be cool if this route got expanded though, like if the route went towards another yard or something like that, more north. I think the reason there isn't one is maybe because it's that far away. But it would be nice to see larger routes. Alright, we're coming up to about 50 yards to go here. See, the train wants us to slow itself down. It needs brakes. Whole thing is pushing us. Yep, there it goes again. You can just tell because the camera like lunges forward. And I'll go ahead and apply some minimum reduction here because we'll pretty much stop right on it. Oh, we're getting so close. 8 yards, 7 yards, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I think we stopped right on it, which is incredible. Whew. Yikes, that is a long that is a long scenario. There's a performance graph there showing our speeds and the speed limit. You know, it bounced around. Did all right. Earned gold for that, and it took us 1 hour and 53 minutes. Oh my gosh, that was a long time. Yeah, the entire route itself is 53 miles, so it's still a fairly lengthy route, but it feels like it takes forever because the speed is between 25 to 35 miles per hour for the most part. You're rarely seeing 50. Like, you're seeing 50 miles per hour right here from the Hyndman to Ellerslie there, Ellerslie Gap, and then you're through Cumberland, and then here's going along the main line, along the yard, and then here was us just now through that track edge, but not too bad. Yeah, there's no stop accuracy or due times or anything because it's a freight scenario, but I think we timed that really well, especially with that SD40-2 manifest leaving Cumberland. I think we did well timing that, and we got the gold star for this one as well. So as always, we'll return to free roam here. Let's just go ahead and get the locomotive set up. Uncouple 8 vehicles. Oh, do we have to do this? Apparently there's more to this scenario that we can do as well. Maybe I might go into it, but for now that's going to be it from this video, just because this has been incredibly long and tiring for me. My voice is wearing out, but that's going to be it from this scenario. Thank you guys again for watching. If you want more Train Sim World 2 content, be sure to subscribe to the channel, like this video and enjoyed, and comment down below your thoughts on anything I might have mentioned in this video and anything you'd like to comment on. For now, that's going to be it from me. Thanks again for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video.